Hey guys, welcome back to KrissBeauty. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Christina. Some of you call me Kriss, others Tina. Whatever you prefer, girl, that's fine with me. Y'all, it has been a minute since I did that intro. I miss you guys so damn much, but clearly I've been gone for a little while and I have a little bit explaining to do. So today we're just gonna get glam. We're gonna have a little bit of a venting session. Definitely much needed because I have not done my makeup, like really done my makeup and actually enjoyed it in probably over a month. It has been a minute since I sat down here to film and it just feels weird, but y'all, makeup is my therapy and I have not been like checking into sessions lately. Like I have just been skipping out, overthinking. I'm gonna update you guys. So today's video is definitely gonna be more of a talking video. It's not gonna be more of like products and details on makeup. I'm just gonna be doing like a cute little look for you guys. I have no idea what I'm doing, but that's really where I'm at. So if you're not already subscribed to KrissBeauty, go ahead and do so. Turn on your bell notifications, baby, and let's get started. All right, you guys, face is bare, ready to go. I don't even know if my camera's angled right. Like, it's just been a hot minute. Hi, hello, how are you? How are you? February, honestly, okay. So I have not really sat down to film, like, I would say since like the end of January. Like, I made it my mission this year to like really go straight into YouTube and all that fun stuff, but then like life just happens. Like, for those of you who don't know, like I deal with a lot of like depression, anxiety, mental illness, and I can't control like when these episodes happen, but y'all, I'm here. I'm finally feeling like okay, you know what I mean? Like I have literally had to take everything but day by day. I'm gonna get started on you know, my makeup and stuff, but it's kind of hard to like do this and like talk at the same time, so please bear with me. Clearly your girl's moisturized. I don't even remember the last time that I like sat down to fully moisturize. Like it's really been one of those months, and it just so happened that I just turned 26 in February, so like I really thought I was gonna be like thriving and like I don't know, but for some reason it definitely kind of triggered this like bout of like depression that I really honestly didn't even see coming. Like usually I can tell when I'm like gonna have a depression episode. Like I don't know, for those of you who can relate, but like I definitely start to feel like this cloud over me, and like I could kind of tell when things are like slowing down. I definitely like disassociate a lot before I fully like go into like the depths of depression. So I really didn't see it coming. It was definitely one of those things where it took probably a few weeks for me to like really have a full depression episode, and it really just snuck up on me. I thought that, you know, my birthday would be like a really nice celebration. I guess the only like telltale sign that I had that I was like falling into a depression, it was, I don't know, I really didn't want, I wasn't hands-on on my birthday. And if you know me, you know that I'm literally a control freak, especially when it comes to my birthday, because I have spent so many birthdays, you know, kind of like sitting around waiting, seeing what everybody else is going to do for me. So like I've made it my mission every birthday to make sure that I feel special no matter what, without the control of anybody else. So I usually dive in, and also I love to like obsess over things. I love to control. I love to plan things. So that's just like my personality. But I just noticed that this birthday, I definitely wasn't planning anything. I was definitely looking forward to my birthday, and I definitely asked questions to the people around me like, hey, what are we doing? But at the same time I was like a little bit checked out, and I thought that that was a good thing at first. I was like, yes, like I'm just, you know, gonna leave it up to like everybody else. I'm not gonna like control this year. Yes, I'm getting better with my control issues, and turns out like it was one of those things where I really just was falling into this like deep depression. So I mean, even with like years and years of me like dealing with depression and all that stuff, I still have a hard time figuring out like what's going on up here. That's definitely what February was about. I was not, to put it into simple terms, I just really wasn't myself, and I've definitely been having a really, really hard time. And we're gonna get into that because like I know I'm not the only one, and I am so transparent and I'm open about how I feel for a few reasons. Well, not how I feel, but I'm open about mental illness, and you know, I really try to get into that kind of stuff on my channel because I know that one, other people are definitely going through what I'm going through, so it shouldn't be this big stigma around mental illness. But also, you know, I definitely used to feel like I needed to hide certain parts of me in order to not appear a certain way. So I've definitely learned how to be like a lot more open and transparent instead of like just suffering all by myself in my head. I'm definitely gonna be talking about, you know, what has been happening, like these what has been happening all February. I really feel like I kind of like got it together this month. I don't know why. That's kind of how my depression works. Like I go from like I don't know what I'm doing with my life to like I know exactly what's happening, and all of a sudden I'm excited. I don't know what that even means, but like that's my life. All right, so I could definitely say that, you know, February, you know, it started off really strong, and I'm gonna get into a couple of things about just like a couple personal things that I started to notice. So just trigger warning, like if you are like triggered by like eating disorders, calories, things like that, just go ahead and skip this part because I really found myself, I guess the easiest way for me to explain it is that just a few things have been happening. Not only depression wise, but well, actually it kind of has to do with depression because it started to, I feel like everything has a connection, you know what I mean? So like the reason why I bring up eating, and I know that's kind of like a little switcheroo on topics, but everything really like ties together, and I really feel like this is part of the reason why I really chose to like slow down and why it was just really hard to film in general. For those of you who don't know, like I've lost 130 pounds, so which is something that I definitely speak a lot about on my TikTok. And if you've been following me on my TikTok, you know that I've already spoken about this. But I've definitely had a hard time, or I've been having a hard time with, I guess, just continuing my journey. I have really like been on top of my weight, on top of my journey for like the last 4 years. So I knew getting closer to my goal, like I would have to not necessarily like slow down, but I would have to switch things up because I was no longer going towards like this, I guess, this goal. So I noticed like maybe July of last year, I started to definitely have these thoughts towards food, and like I guess just the idea of like having to switch things up and maybe like no longer be like in a calorie deficit, you know, working towards something kind of freaked me out because I was now really honing in on calories, and I thought that this was like a good thing. I've created, you know, a fat loss guide around like my success and the things that I know, and you know, I've really put that out there and I've been working. So it was like really just like really hard for me to like, so initially I did think that this was a good thing, that I was, you know, getting down to like the last 10 pounds that I wanted to lose, and I was like, okay, like, you know, I'm going to eventually stop doing this, and it's going to be hard, but it's going to be an adjustment, and it is what it is. However, I definitely feel like this turned into like me, it's kind of hard to say. I definitely feel like it started to turn into like, I don't know if I should say this. I think it was going towards the direction of like an eating disorder. And I don't say that lightly. I don't say that like, oh yeah, like haha, like, you know, this is like I'm, you know, like I have an eating disorder. Like I don't say this lightly at all, because I think that that's like a really big and serious topic, and I would never ever like want to just like say it like it's nothing. But I definitely started to feel like I was I think the way it started is that I started plateauing, and it really started to take a toll on my mental health, because I was like, you know, what am I doing wrong? Like, how can I fix this? You know, blah, blah, blah. And like my mind really went into overdrive. So, you know, I started like weighing my food and started like really, really like obsessing over like calories and like, you know, certain things like that. And it kind of felt like I was living, I don't want to say like a double life because that's not the right word, but I definitely was like not feeling true to myself because again, I have created my fat loss guide and I'm so proud of it, and I have definitely done all my research to make sure that I do not misinform anybody on anything. So I'm proud of my fat loss guide. However, like, you know, I was dealing with these issues, and you know, because I'm human and because I'm going through my own journey, I was definitely dealing with like issues of like, you know, feeling like I'm stuck, feeling like, you know, I'm definitely plateauing. I was in between the same weight, and so I feel like I was like doing everything that I could on my part, and I could honestly say like it started to drive me absolutely fucking crazy. Excuse my French, but it started to drive me like crazy because I was like, what could I be doing that is stopping me from my success? You know what I mean? Like I have taught myself that, you know, especially with this weight loss journey, that I am in control of my success, and you know, I am, you know, the reasons for my successes and my failures. So, you know, in my mind, I'm thinking like, what is it that I'm doing wrong? You know, how is it like, what can I do to fix it? Because I was willing, more than willing and able to fix it. But the thing about the body is that like, it's going to do what it wants to do. So like, I really honestly, I could not accept that fact. I would say like since July, I have been in a plateau, and it's just been really tough on me. It's been really tough on me because it really caused me to like start overthinking, and I just really went into this spiral of like how do I fix this? You know, how do I fix me? What's wrong with me? Like I've lost 130 pounds. I literally only have 10 pounds to go, and I feel like I really felt alone. I felt like nobody understood because it's like, hello, you lost 130 pounds. Like, how could you even complain? And I really just wasn't happy. I got to a space where I was really, just really like confused and obsessive, and I just really couldn't deal, y'all. I couldn't deal. Like, just that's just putting it into like simple terms. I really could not deal. I was like, this is more than I signed up for, because I did not think that it would be this difficult. I really truly did not believe that it would be this difficult. So and again, you know, this is something that I'm passionate about, so it wasn't one of those things where like I was gonna give up easily. So I think, you know, definitely coming to grips over the last couple months with the fact that like I either, you know, I could not change what was happening, you know, what was happening with my body. I was really genuinely confused. And so like I said, it really took a toll on me, and I feel like, you know, I really started to like try to reset and have like a moment of reflection, because I'm like, okay, like you've done this a million times before. Like I've taken it week to week. I've lost like 3 pounds, you know, a pound. Like I literally take my goals, especially this big goal of 130 pounds. I took it week to week. It wasn't one of those things where I was like, okay, I have, you know, 90 more pounds to go. I have, you know, 70 more pounds. No, it literally was like week to week. I was like, okay, I have a pound to 2 pounds this week to like, that was my goal. So like, I'm like, you know, I knew that I could do this. You know, I knew that I could do this. I was like, you could do this. You know, you've done this a million times before. You can do this all over again. Like, you know, it's just your mind playing tricks with you. Like, just don't let these things get the best of you. So that's really how I started to approach this. And I really feel like the more that I did, the harder that I pushed, things started to get like progressively worse. And this is really something that I don't see people talk about. Like I don't see anybody talk about how hard it is to like, you know, truly like, I don't want to say push myself, but like how really truly hard it is to like push past like your own thoughts and your own bullshit in order to get to like the last of your goals. And like nobody I see nobody talking about how hard it is to transition from like being in a deficit for so long to like not being in a deficit any longer, and you know, learning just when to stop and learning when to just be okay with you. So I would say like, I think that I started to realize that I was having a real issue literally like 2 weeks ago, because I came to a point where it was my 26th birthday and I had a real like moment of truth. You know what I mean? Like I was I guess just to put it in like non-complicated terms, I would have to say like this is what happened. My significant other, bless his heart, he was literally so patient and so good the weekend of my birthday, because I was really going through like a moment of wanting to go out and wanting to do this, but also simultaneously being like really super sad, really super depressed, and I didn't know, like my mood swings were up and down. I literally was like, for the first time in a long time, like I had a panic attack. Like I was in a really bad place mentally. So and I really do feel like the reason why I got to that place on my actual birthday weekend was for a few reasons. One, because I was turning 26, and of course we all go through the moment of like, what are we doing with our lives, you know, what is happening, like I should have accomplished this, that, and the third, and I literally always go through that. So that wasn't really a new emotion for me. I could usually get that just with the phone call where I speak to my sister. She's like, you're good, you've been through a lot, you're like, you know, still adjusting, blah blah blah. And I'm, you know, I can get through that emotion. But for some reason, what sent me into a spiral and why I felt like going back to my eating and what I felt was developing into an eating disorder was the fact that my significant other, like, he bought me a cake. And mind you, this is something that I had bothered him like year to year. I'm like, you know, you never just like get up, like go out and like just buy me a cake. Like I always make a big deal about a cake because I feel like whether I eat the cake or not, like it's a symbol of like a celebration. You know what I mean? Like people sing you happy birthday, blah blah blah. So this is something, mind you, that I definitely have brought up before, and he's been like, you know, definitely understanding, blah blah blah. But for some reason, as we got closer to like actually going to get the cake, and the fact that I actually had to eat this cake, and not a sugar-free cake, not a dairy-free cake, not a low-calorie cake, like an actual normal piece of cake, freaked me the hell out. It just freaked me out because I was like, oh my god, like how many calories does this have? And like this has a bunch of sugar, and is it gonna like you know, send me into an anxiety spiral because I don't really like eat processed sugar? Like I went haywire. And hours before like I had to cut my cake, I was not okay. Not in the slightest. I think that was the moment I was like, okay, you need to step back. You need to officially step back because you're not okay, darling. And that's okay. That's okay to not be okay. And it may seem like a silly thing, and I'm pretty sure like there's someone out there like, oh, like she's, you know, bugging out over cake, like what's wrong with her? But like when you've been on a journey for so long, this is like this is real stuff. Okay, it's just not easy, you know what I mean? Because you've trained your mind, you've trained your body to like not be afraid, but like to be aware. So I was just like, you know, I didn't realize that this was having like such an impact on me until I was like, okay, like I don't know if I could do this. Like this is not what I signed up for. So I was just, oh my god, you guys, I was in tears. I was literally in tears, and I was just like, you know, like maybe, you know, I don't really want to have cake. And like my partner was like, listen, like you're gonna have cake, you're gonna stop overthinking this, you're gonna have cake, and like it's gonna be okay. Like you're gonna have cake and we're gonna celebrate you. I know you're feeling sad, you feel like shit, but it's your birthday. Like this is what's gonna happen, you know what I mean? And I think that was a really tough moment, but it was definitely a very significant and much needed moment, because I think after that is when I really, not I think, like I definitely know that after that is when I truly decided that I had to 100%, I had to do a reset. I had to do a reset, and not in the way that I've ever done it before. Like for the first time, I actually had to step back, and I couldn't be on a diet anymore. So that was really hard for me. So I can definitely say that at that point, that was a really defining moment for me in my journey. It was definitely, you know, hard to come to grips with that, because it's definitely something that has been weighing on my mind. And I knew that, you know, in the back of my mind, I always knew like, listen, you know, you have to learn how to take a break, and you have to learn how to like, you know, no longer be, not necessarily restricted, because I really try to not restrict myself, but I guess I'm just like hyper aware of like who I am and like my triggers. So I really try to stay away from that. but I definitely always encourage like others, like, you know, if you don't have certain allergies or certain like triggers, to like, you know, not restrict sugar and like, you know, dairy and things like that, because there's certain reasons why I do that. But I've always noticed that there's been like a lot of panic around me having to one day like just learn how to adjust and not necessarily like have to be so restricted in those ways. So it's just something that I knew that I had to do, and I never felt like it was a better moment than that moment where I was completely freaked out about like cake and things like that. That was definitely like it was tough. It was a really tough moment, but it really taught me a lot. So that was definitely what I was dealing with on my birthday weekend, and that was, no pun intended, the icing on the cake, because I knew I was not okay. I knew I was not okay. And of course it kind of sent me into this like spiral of like depression. So I spent my whole birthday like just really sad and trying to hide the fact that I was sad. But I literally couldn't. I did not work out. I literally did not do nothing but like lay in bed while everybody else just like went to work. It was sad. It was a really sad birthday, but I don't regret it. I don't regret it because it helped me get to like a place of like, okay, like you're not okay, and maybe you do need a little bit more support and definitely a little bit more help, which is, it's really hard for me to ask for help and to really put that out there and to be as transparent as I want to. One, because of judgment, but two, just because like I said, I used to really be in this bad place of depression where I would hide it like all the time, and eventually it got me to a point where like I had to be hospitalized because I was not being honest about how messed up I felt. I definitely, you know, it was hard for me to be honest with the people around me that I really needed that support, but I'm happy I was honest with, not necessarily with everyone, because I definitely I just feel like it's a very sensitive subject, so I'm not gonna be like the most open with everyone because it is a really sensitive thing, and food has always been a sensitive topic for me. But I definitely was open to the people that I needed to be open to, and I was honest, and I just feel like it was a much needed moment. So I don't regret it, and I always feel like, you know, a lot of the times like our most hard moments, ooh, this is a little bit much right here, darling. Hold up. I definitely feel like some of our most challenging, difficult times brings out like the best like outcome eventually. Like in the moment it feels like crap, but then you kind of get to a place where it's like, oh, okay, like that's why that happened. You know, like it was really hard and it was difficult, but like, you know, it got me to a place that I didn't think I could get to, like if everything was going perfect, you know what I mean? So it was definitely one of those moments. And just a little side note, I definitely want to like touch on this because I feel like it's really important. There definitely was a moment, because you know, you guys, if you're following me on Instagram and all that good stuff, you know that I definitely purchased a wig and I was really rocking it for my birthday for a couple reasons. One, because I'm definitely I just could no longer keep dyeing my hair. And I really wanted to like be that girl that had like, you know, a really nice new hairdo. But listen, a bitch could not. My hair is literally falling out, which comes to like another reason why I was stressed, because I've really been having health issues that I don't know like what's going on with my body, and it's causing all these like issues, including like a bunch of my hair falling out. So I definitely got into you know, wearing a wig and trying to like really make the best of the moment, because I was really going through it. Like my hair's falling out. I'm sad because I'm turning 26. I'm closer to 30. And like at this point I'm not feeling the best of my body because I feel like I've been in the same spot and I'm obsessing over calories. The bitch can't even eat cake, and you know, I was going through it like a lot. So of course, you know, I did it up with my hair. I got me a nice outfit for my birthday. The moment that I felt even a little bit good, I got a comment like, oh, like maybe, you know, just to sum it up, you know, that's just, maybe you should cover up, or like just like little subliminal comments, you know, a little shady comment about like, oh, like, you know, that's just like basically like you're doing too much. If I were you, I would like cover up. sort of thing. So I just wanted to point that out, that comment out, because I just feel like you never know what somebody's going through. You really never know what somebody's going through. And even though I was like acting like I was okay, that was a really like tough moment for me. Like, you don't know what people are experiencing. So when you say absent-minded things like that, not realizing that, you know, people are like going like really like genuinely like going through their own like issues like with their body and their eating and things like that. And not to mention, like, I would never cover up, or not in this day and age, darling, because I have definitely spent I've definitely spent the first like what 23 years of my life like covering up because I have big arms, because I have this and that, and I've gotten to a place where I've lost 130 freaking pounds. I'm still a thickums, you know. I've learned to be confident and like love my curves, and generally I have a very positive like outlook on my body, okay? And I've learned to own it and love it and really just trust the process. And, you know, I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed of like how I look like I was before. So for someone to even like tell me like, oh, you know what, like maybe you should like cover up, no. Respectfully, with peace and love, no. Because first of all, it's my body. That's, I mean, that right there should be case closed, period. You don't know what I've gone through to get to this point. You don't know what I've experienced. You don't know how, like, and I don't care about your reasons. I don't care about your concern. I really could care less, really, truly. So I just feel like, just for future reference, like if you know somebody who has like lost weight, and they're not like, they don't even have to be vocal about the fact that like, you know, they're showing a little bit more, whatever the case is. They don't have to be open with you about that. Like, if they're not comfortable, just don't say things like that. Just don't. If you have someone in your life who has really worked their ass off and has worked truly hard in like losing weight, or even like anything, like just getting to a place where they're happy again, commenting on things like that is just so unnecessary. So if you don't know, now you know. It's rude, it's uncalled for, and you really never know how someone is going to react or what someone is really going through. So I just would refrain from saying anything like that. But yeah, so that was definitely one of those things where I was like, okay, what else is gonna happen this weekend? Because I was already down and out, and I just really, I was going through it. I was really going through it. Y'all, I think this is the most that I've ever contoured in my life. All right, guys, so just a side note, I had to go off of camera real quick, do the brows and the eyes. I'm very dramatic today because this situation's full coverage, and I had no control over that either. But yeah, I'm just gonna finish up with the lips and, you know, just finish up giving you guys more updates on like my life. My sad life. No, but seriously, so I'm gonna be doing the lips, but like it might be a little bit hard to talk, but yeah, so I really just definitely wanted to mention, definitely people like commenting when they shouldn't, especially never knowing like if someone's in a really bad place mentally or physically. But for those of you who do get comments like that, like, I know how hard it is to ignore, clearly, because I had to deal with it firsthand. But just know, like, you cannot change other people's like ignorance. You know what I mean? Like, you could only educate people. And as sensitive as the subject as it may be, like, sometimes people, like, I know this sounds so weird, but like people just genuinely like say things and like don't even realize and like don't even know what they're like saying. You know, they don't know the effects of what they're saying. So like I wouldn't, I guess, you know, I would try not to like go on full attack, because I've also gotten like comments, you know, as far as like, oh, like, you know, like, why did it take you so long to like lose weight, blah blah blah, like things like that. And sometimes people are just genuinely curious. They're not trying to like, it's, what I'm saying is that like it's not always coming from like a bad place or like a place of like maliciousness. Sometimes it is because people really just want to knock you down. Honestly, I would say maybe like a little more than half the time it's not coming from a bad place. So definitely, like, if you're getting certain comments like that, I would just really refrain from like, you know, attacking and like try to educate. That's definitely something that I'm gonna try to work on. I know it could be like really difficult, really, because in your mind you're like, okay, well, this is common sense, like you should know better than to like comment on like things that you know nothing about. So I know how hard it could be, but always choose to like educate before you go in for the kill, because then at least you know you did your part. But besides that, like other than that, like, you know, I've really just been, I guess based off of like having that whole experience, I've chosen to like completely come off of a calorie deficit, because at the end of the day, like before weight, before anything, like my health comes first, and my happiness comes first. So I'm learning to like remind myself like that is the most important thing. And right now, like eating and maintenance calories, and for those of you who don't know, like being in a calorie deficit basically just means you are eating a little bit less to go into like, in order to lose fat, and that's based off of your maintenance calories. And of course your maintenance calories has to do with your height, your weight, your current exercise level, and your gender. So right now I'm just sticking to like what my body needs. I'm not in fat loss mode whatsoever. Like I'm just enjoying food again. I'm like retraining my mind, and it is difficult day to day. I'm just like really trying to get used to like just being happy with food and not being scared of certain food groups and, you know, things like that. I'm still working on Kriss Curbs Fitness, which I have put on the back burner because I've just been like stuck. I've been plateaued within my own journey. So it's just been hard to like educate. But I'm definitely 100% like still really excited to continue that. And aside from that mess, like I've just been learning how to put myself first in general, which has been like really tough, but it's something that I have been struggling with for years. But especially this year, I'm like, no, like I'm not gonna do anything that just doesn't serve me, you know what I mean? So like if it's really something that I feel is like not matching up with my energy and my vibe, I'm just not gonna do it. But it's been definitely lonely, and it's been difficult, because when you're used to always saying yes and always putting like others first, it's really hard to step back and be like, I'm not gonna do that. Overall, like it's been tough. It's just been a learning process, you know what I mean? I guess I'm just not good with like change in general, and like it's just really hard on my mind in general, and just especially with the fact that I've had to learn how to readjust my schedule and things like that. And like I'm just learning how to reprioritize my happiness. And I guess that's just like the whole point of this entire thing, is like just learning how to reprioritize happiness and the things that I love to do, which is makeup, which is definitely sharing with you guys my journey, anything that I could help with to make your life just a little bit easier. So it's definitely been a challenge, but you know what, as I always say, I'm always committed to like bettering myself, and I know that I have to do better. So that's really all the updates that I have for you guys. I really do appreciate, and I really do thank you guys for being patient with me as I have like really tried to get my mind together. If you guys don't follow me on TikTok, please do so, because I definitely update on TikTok more often than any other platform. Anything that I use on and off of camera today will definitely be linked down in the description, so go ahead and check that out. You guys, thank you guys so much for your support. If you have any video ideas for me to dive into in my next couple videos, go ahead and drop that down below as well. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Let me know your thoughts. I really truly appreciate you guys for watching, for being present, for being here. If you made it to this part of the video, go ahead and leave a purple heart down below to let me know that, you know, you're here with me. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys.